go ahead and move on to the slipper clutch. And it all begins with this little bar. Go ahead, slide that into the hole. Then we get the very base of the slipper clutch, and you can see there's a little slot for that bar to fit into. It goes all the way in. Then we get the actual plate. And that should fit on there just like that. Now I'm going to get my spur gear, attach the pads, slipper clutch pads, and it's held in with 3 screws. One there, second here, and obviously the third right there. Alright, time lapse. And the screws are screwed in, so now I can go ahead and get a brand new bearing. Push that in there. And now before I put the spur gear on, I'm going to get one of the screws for the motor, put that on there. Because yeah, that's going to be a problem later. Because you can't put that on after you put the spur gear on. Alright, so next comes the collapsible spring and a 4mm nut. So I'm going to go ahead and get that started. Now you don't need to have the wheels attached. All you have to do is fold the drive shafts forward, hold them forward, and then you can screw it in. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to collapse the spring all the way, but don't get mad at me yet because I am going to unscrew it. 1/2 turn. I think Traxxas says you're supposed to do 1 full turn, but I always just do 1/2 turn. Alright, with that done, I can now attach the Millennium motor. Yes, this thing is gorgeous. Wish they made it in different colors though, besides blue. Okay, now this gets screwed in right here. So I'm going to go ahead and time lapse this as well. Okay. Now that that's taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and install the pinion gear, which just slides on there. So another time lapse, and all of it has been adjusted properly and installed and tightened. If you want to know how I did that, I have a how-to video, just look for it on my channel. Anyways, I can go ahead, get the gear cover, get the longer of the 2 small screws. Longest one goes there, and then the little one goes right there. So yet again, another time lapse. Alright, and there we go. And yeah, they're stainless steel now, because other screws, well, they weren't in the greatest of shape. So now I'm going to go ahead, get the lower part of the drive shaft, slide it on, both sides. Very easy stuff to do. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and move on to the rear axle carrier. And unlike the XL5, the VXL gets bearings instead of bushings. So we're going to go ahead and slide a couple bearings in there. And we're going to line it up and get another one of these pins. Slide that through and tighten it up. And yes, bearings are much better than bushings, believe me. Okay, and the other side is identical, so I'm going to go ahead and time lapse that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and attach the upper rear link to the axle carrier, which is a very simple process. Just get a screw, goes through there, and screws into that upper part. There we go. And we are almost done with the whole rear assembly. Getting there. Whoa, lost it there. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and attach the hex nut. So here is the process for that. You put a washer on there, slide it all the way back. You get one of these small little bars. Let's go ahead and bring this up a bit closer so you can see. That slides right in there. Make sure it's even on both sides. And then you get your hex nut and let it find its spot. Snap it on there. which isn't always an easy thing to do. In fact, it can be really hard. Yeah, I'm going to have to use some pliers for this. Okay, round 2. So yeah, get the pliers. There we go. These hex nuts are new too, so yeah, that first time is a doozy. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same exact thing for the other side. One last thing for today. Every VXL Stampede does come with a wheelie bar. So we're going to go ahead and slide that on, and it gets held in with 3 screws. 2 right there, and then the last one right there. So the smallest goes in right there, and then the longest goes in there, and then the medium there. Okay, now the last thing I'm going to do for this video is feed all the wires through there. And yeah, that is the end of this video. So we pretty much got the whole rear assembly done. Just gotta do the shocks.